So, before we get started, there's a few things that I want to discuss. Basically, this is going to be a very different video from what I've done before and probably what I'll do in the future. I do not want any hate sent towards the person who made the video in which I'll be referencing to, although I'm not going to link to it or say the person's name. You can find the video if you want to listen to their point of view. I would definitely encourage you do that. Just because I think it's fair to see both sides of an argument. And not just listen to me and be like, yeah, I agree with you. I'm not going to listen to the other person. That's stupid. But I also don't want to link to them directly because I don't want to, seem as though I'm encouraging hate their way. The internet is the internet, so I am going... And even though I'm a small YouTuber, I'm extra small. I have less than 50 subscribers, so, I don't expect any hate to be sent their way, but I don't want there to be. So I am going to just say, please do not do that. I just want to rant about this topic because it is something that, personally makes me feel. So it's something that I need to get this off my chest. I need to get this out there so that this take is also heard. Basically, earlier I saw a video talking about how Ribbit from the Amazing Digital Circus is a non-binary or demigirl person or character. That's their gender identity. The video did flip-flop between those two terms, and I know there is overlap between demigirls and non-binary people, just because it kind of has a similar, there's overlap, basically, is probably the best way to describe it. But the way that they were pushing the take in the video was using Ribbit's pronouns as evidence that Ribbit is non-binary. That because she uses she, they pronouns, that automatically equals being non-binary or demigirl. I'm just gonna say non-binary for this video, but you can swap it out with demigirl if that's actually what they meant. I'm not entirely sure. Which, on its own, is not a bad take. If you see Ribbit and you go, I think Ribbit is non-binary, or I think Ribbit is a demigirl, I think Ribbit is trans or cis or whatever, any of those takes are completely valid and none of them are wrong. And I'm going to tell you why none of them are wrong. To assume that they are wrong, to assume that Ribbit is 100% non-binary and that is canon, is to assume that using they, them pronouns equals being non-binary. But it doesn't. Cis people can use they, them pronouns on themselves, trans people can use they, them pronouns on themselves, anyone who is on or off the gender binary can use they, them pronouns for themselves, and whatever their gender expression is completely valid. The pronouns do not change the gender expression or the gender identity. Many people think that pronouns equal gender identity, but it doesn't, and that's a very bad viewpoint to have. Me personally, I am a transgender man. I use he, they pronouns. I am not non-binary. To assume that I am non-binary because of my pronouns, and then push this idea as fact, would be wrong. So, pushing the idea that Ribbit is, fact, non-binary because she uses she, they pronouns is wrong. I think the point they were getting to at a certain point in the video was calling the fandom, or at least a good part of it, problematic, or that it is a problem that people don't buy or don't believe in or reject the idea that Ribbit is non-binary. Now I would say, yes, it probably is a problem if people hear Ribbit is non-binary and go, no, that's wrong, that's a horrible take, and Ribbit is not non-binary, because that kind of sounds like it's being a little queer-phobic, but that's not what would be happening. What is happening is that people don't subscribe to your headcanon, because as far as I could tell, there's no proof for Ribbit being non-binary. I've asked people who are way more well-versed in the digital circus outside of the show, with what Gooseworks has said, and what voice actors have said, and none of them came back to me with, yes, there is proof beyond pronouns that Ribbit is non-binary or a demigirl. I couldn't find anything myself. Of course, feel free to correct me if that is wrong. The person in the video didn't bring up any other evidence as far as I'm aware, unless it was something in the last 8 seconds of the video, which would be kind of really bad timing for your point. It seems that the only evidence is the pronouns, which would make it much more of a headcanon than actually being canon. And people not agreeing with your headcanon, or not agreeing with what you view a character as, is not problematic. That's not an issue. That is just how fandoms and how media and how like thinking about characters and how fandom surrounding characters works. You're more than welcome to think Ribbit is non-binary. You're more than welcome to think Ribbit is a demigirl. Hell, I even might. I think that's a very interesting idea. I never even thought about that before seeing the video. But the way that they presented the idea soured my view because they called it a problem. They called people not agreeing with, again, what is basically a glorified headcanon that they're pushing as fact, based on a kind of iffy view on pronouns and gender identity, a problem, which I can't agree with, unfortunately. But yeah, that's about it. That's about all I really wanted to talk about and get off my chest, because that view really bothered me, and I didn't see anyone in the comments disagreeing, and I felt like I couldn't fit my point of view perfectly in just a comment, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna make a video. I have a YouTube channel, might as well use it for something. But yeah, that's my take. If I missed any actual, like, confirmation that Ribbit is non-binary, let me know. Don't harass anyone over a cartoon frog.